Welcome back from the break. It's time for another episode of the Soup du Jour.
Oh, what's the soup du jour?
Well, it's the soup of the day.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Yes, and so if you missed part one of this live stream, we covered probably one of the most anticipated movies of 2024. Covered Deadpool and Wolverine. And so, staying on theme, we thought that we'd have, it's only fitting. We started this podcast in season 1 trying to come up with films to kind of as filler, because we started this podcast in 2020 during a little bit of a pandemic. So it wasn't like there was new movies coming out. So we thought it would be fun to, cover all. Well, then it was like the first three phases.
Right.
I already lost track. First three phases of
Yes.
the MCU. And so, oh my goodness, we've grown as a podcast, haven't we?
I mean, we definitely have. We have a live stream now. That's crazy. We've played with multiple formats of the episode. Ever changing, really.
Ever evolving, yeah.
Ever evolving.
I feel like we've tried almost everything. I can't say everything, because I feel like whenever we like podcast, we'll come up with random ideas. I feel like we stay fresh in terms of flowing with the times. You know, we've incorporated TikTok now. What?
Finally, people.
What are we, Gen Z?
Yeah. Boomers.
I know. I feel like we're far from boomers. We're pretenders. We pretend we're in Gen Z. Oh man, it's been already a eventful evening, and so yes, for this edition of the Soup du Jour, because we covered Deadpool and Wolverine, we'll be talking about the MCU. Also, even a little bit later in the simmer, but for the Soup du Jour, the main event, the main course, we will be ranking the 34 MCU movies. I know it's a daunting task, so we'll kind of break it up a little bit.
Jeez.
We've got 34 movies that we have covered. I want to say out of these 34, we have now covered 33 of them in depth. The only one that we have not covered, and it was during our hiatus late last year, we have not covered the Marvels.
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't covered the Marvels, and honestly, I've only seen the Marvels once, and I remember. Oh, you know what? I might mention that in our rankings or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, figured since we have 34, we'd break them up into, I don't know, little chunks, I guess. And I figured, just so that you're not hearing my voice a lot of the times where I'll probably end up losing my voice, or vice versa with Jeremy, figured we kind of do a little bit of a back and forth. So Jeremy, it's kind of a weird number 34. So I figured with the bottom tier, we'll kind of lump our largest cluster of movies. We'll start with ranking from 34 to 26. And so if you want to highlight one of those movies on why you ranked it, and so on and so forth. And then when we get to the top, when we get into our top 10 in those clusters, we'll highlight 2 movies. All right. So Jeremy will be leading us off, since I'm the host here in the Soup du Jour. But go ahead and reveal your MCU ranking from 34 to 26.
Okay. This is a reminder for people. Don't take it too seriously.
Yes.
Okay? Like, this is just ranking from possibly whatever our current thoughts are right now. If you scroll back on Instagram, there's some old stuff that are constantly ever changing there, for sure.
And actually, since you mentioned that, actually, I want to preface my list. I'm coming at it with a different perspective this time than each of the previous times. Like, each of the previous times, I've done it one way. This latest time, I'm actually doing it in terms of rewatchability. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
At least for mine.
here we go. I'm going to list 34 through 26, and then I'll explain one movie. My number 34, and dead last, is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. At number 33, Thor: The Dark World. 32, Thor: Love and Thunder. 31, Eternals. 30, Doctor Strange. 29, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 28, The Incredible Hulk. 27, The Marvels. And 26, Captain Marvel.
I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot of crossover with my list. Holy crap! I was
There's
like,
a
wow.
big chunk, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a big chunk of this, definitely in the lower echelon of MCU. I
Okay.
do love a lot of them, but one movie I want to highlight is a recent movie because I feel like, you know, people are tired of talking about like freaking Ant-Man or Incredible Hulk or something like that, or Eternals. We Thor: Love and Thunder and Thor: Dark World. I didn't know which one to put above the other, but I'm putting Love and Thunder up above Dark World for now. But for some reason, I had inkling that I need to rewatch Dark World, and I'm gonna do that pretty soon. I feel like, and we'll see if that ranking stays the same. Because Love and Thunder is pretty bad, but I remember Dark World's villain is horrible as well.
Yes. I mean, we named the weekly reel award after it, the Malekith Award
Yeah,
for most hated character, just because it wasn't even like hated as, oh, he was a good villain. It was just hated because he just sucked and he was boring as hell.
yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah. Well, um, my 34 to 26 again for my list and my list only, it's more of a rewatchability thing, so mine will be a little bit different, but you're gonna see a little bit of crossover, at least in this first grouping of MCU movies, because number 34, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
What the hell?
Number 33, I have Eternals. Number 32, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp. In a very huge upset, this is the highest I've ever had Thor: The Dark World at 31. In all my previous iterations, literally every time we ranked probably at least 10 times or something like that. It's always been last. But I feel like, now that I think about it, again, coming from this is not my movie that I'm highlighting, by the way. The rewatchability due to Endgame, I think it redeems it a little bit. So Thor: The Dark World 31, The Incredible Hulk at 30, Black Widow at 29, 28, I have Thor: Love and Thunder. 27, I have Doctor Strange. And number 26, I have Thor. And so the movie I want to highlight is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The reason why it's dead last for me, one, it had expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking forward to it. I want to say and I'm proud to say this, but I'm a little ashamed that I'm going to be saying this, but I think we were talking about anticipated movies, and I felt like I think I remember, I forget what my specific words were, but I think I mentioned something about, oh, my dark horse for most anticipated upcoming MCU movie was Quantumania, because I wanted to see Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. And actually, that part of it, I feel like was right. I feel like him and oh my goodness, Ant-Man, Paul Rudd,
Paul Rudd, yeah.
they were the best two parts of the movie, but they were exposed to really crappy writing, and no good amount of good performances can save horrible writing. And so the fact that Kang the Conqueror seems like it's just like literally being pruned in real time makes this movie like worthless, and it's got the lowest rewatchability for me. It's like, why would I ever watch Quantumania ever again? So that's why it's number 34 for me.
Okay. Should I start
Yes.
the
So it'd be
next batch?
we'll do batches of 5 from here on out.
Okay.
So and then highlight one movie for this round as well. Sorry.
All right. My number 25 is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. 24, you got Thor. Number 23, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 22, Iron Man 2. And number
Okay.
21, Black Widow.
No arguments for me. Nothing too far from my rankings. Do you want to highlight one movie?
Yes. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, rewatched recently. I think this is a solid place of where to put it because it is that barrier in between like the lowest quarter of the list.
Mhm.
It's a okay movie, but it's like doesn't really satisfy anything. That's why I feel like watching Thor. I love Thor character, Guardians. You get an Iron Man, you got Black Widow. It's like I would rather rewatch any of those characters than Doctor Strange.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Actually, that in my next batch 25-21, that was the movie that I was going to highlight as well. I have it in that same batch, but I'll highlight a different movie in the interest of different conversation. So at number 25, I have The Marvels. Number 24, and this may be a hot take, Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Mm.
I originally had this, and this is the movie that I'll highlight. I originally had this higher. I think because of the unenviable task that Ryan Coogler had with having to come up with a Black Panther sequel post Chadwick Boseman. I actually, in the moment, liked the movie. It's just again for rewatchability. I don't know if I would find the time to want to rewatch this movie unless I wanted to feel nostalgic about Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa and obviously Chadwick Boseman as an actor because man, like I don't know if I would want to watch a comic book movie to kind of be in the fields. I felt like it's a really good story. Yeah, there's some slow parts. There's a lot of exposition or whatever, and it's got some good elements to it. But in terms of rewatchability, um, I don't know if I would kind of come back to the well to Black Panther Wakanda Forever to just watch on a random Thursday night or Wednesday
Yeah.
night like it is tonight. So, but yeah, that's why I have it this low at 24, whereas before I had it a little higher. Number 23, I have Captain Marvel. Number 22, I have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And at number 21, I have Ant-Man.
Oh, Ant Man. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, just Ant Man.
Yeah, I already have the other two Ant-Man in the
Yeah.
lowest tier.
Right.
Do you want to go ahead now with your rankings of 20 through 16 and then again highlight one film?
Yes. At my number 20, we just mentioned it, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Number 19, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 18, Iron Man 3. Number 17, Ant Man. And number 16, Spider Man Far From Home. Okay. One thing I want to mention, Ken said all the stuff I agree with for Black Panther, so I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Talking about Spider Man Far From Home. I think since the last time we talked about the list, I had it pretty high. But now, after having more Spider Man movies and kind of going back and seeing all the other movies that are higher up on this list, I kind of had to put it a little bit lower. I still love the movie, but yeah, there's just so many other good ones now in this upper like top 15 that I could only put Spider-Man Far From Home at 16.
I believe it. I mean, actually, I will admit I mean, I'm not mentioning it in this batch, so I actually have it higher.
Yeah.
But I had the most trouble ranking Far From Home. So I don't know. I might have to revisit mine again because you mentioned some good points. But for my rankings from 20 to 16, I have at number 20, Iron Man 2. This is probably the highest I've ever had it. And again, I think rewatchability. I think sometimes I just want to watch some Tony Stark action going on. And I don't know. I looking back on it, it had the unenviable task of setting up a lot of different storylines within Phase One of the MCU. Uh, and it's not the movie that I'm highlighting. I sometimes go into to monologuing. 19, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 18, I have Iron Man 3 also. Number 17, I have Avengers Age of Ultron. And at number 16, I have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which previously I had higher. But again, rewatchability in terms of the overall MCU. So the movie I want to highlight is at number 19, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Last year when... Wait, was it last year when Volume 3 came out?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. When Volume 3 came out last May in 2023, I remember seeing a lot of... I think the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is hands down the best trilogy of the MCU, and I'm like, are you crazy? Because Volume 2 still exists and it's not good. I don't know. Like, I feel like this movie sometimes gets a lot of unnecessary like praise. It gets gassed up for being part of the whole James Gunn trilogy. But I still think a lot of the jokes don't land for me. And the only thing that literally keeps Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in the mid tier, 19 out of 34 for me, is the fact that, I mean, I just love each of the characters, and Baby Groot's a fantastic addition to, at least this movie. So, yeah, that's why I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 that low compared to maybe some other people that love the James Gunn trilogy. I mean, you and I are I think we're on the same boat. So when I mentioned that, I wasn't mentioning you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I think you have it around the same ranking, or maybe even a little lower. I forgot where'd you rank
Guardians 2?
Yeah,
23.
yeah, C-23. Yeah, but even lower than me.
Yeah. I mean, I still obviously still like it, but
Yeah,
can't beat everything else.
exactly. All right, Jeremy. This will be the final tier where we're only talking about one movie. Let's go ahead and have you rank 15 to 11.
Okay, at number 15, The Avengers 2012. Number 14, Captain America, The First Avenger. Number 13, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay.
Number 12, Black Panther. And number 11, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Ooh, which one are you highlighting?
Man. I have to address Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I used to have it a lot higher.
Uh-huh.
But now, like, kind of thinking about, like you said, rewatchability. I love the Black Panther movie, but Shang-Chi, I feel like, is, for me, more rewatchable. That's why I had to put it over Black Panther.
Okay.
Guardians Volume 3 was the hardest one I had to juggle. I think it's still really good.
Mm-hmm.
In terms, like, really good as in terms of story. Haven't rewatched it yet. So that might change.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I felt sad putting Captain America First Avenger lower on
That low, I know.
I was
Same.
like, crap.
Same.
But all those above it, in terms of the technicality and the storytelling and action, I thought were better made in those movies. It's just that's what's bogging down the first Avengers. Like, it feels cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to the other movies, but it has heart.
It really does. I mean, let me address your Shang-Chi comment a little bit. I actually dropped it way down. I used to have it hovering around top 10, 11, somewhere around that time, that ranking. The reason why I dropped 16 is like I feel like it's been disconnected from everything because obviously the connection when it first came out was to the original Iron Man with the 10 rings, um, and and obviously Iron Man 3. Minor spoiler alert. You figure out which one, why that is. But I feel like maybe that ranking will change depending on if and when we ever get that Shang-Chi sequel. So, but what nowadays when I'm watching the MCU, I feel like I'm so limited on time. I kind of want to watch the hits a little bit, and or anything that is setting up the hits. And so, if you've noticed, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I've ranked higher is like stuff that's related to the Avengers movies,
Right, that's
and
true,
not the
huh?
adjacent stuff that they try to introduce, which is most of the new stuff.
Yeah,
Oh man.
totally
Well,
agree.
anyway, my 15 to 11, I have Spider-Man: Homecoming. Number 14, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Number 13, Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 12, I also have Black Panther. And number 11, I have Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, the first one.
Oh, really? I was like,
Yeah.
I was taking that pause. I was like,
Yeah,
no
no, no,
way.
no, no. Just I that was on purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to highlight the first Avenger. I also was sad that I have this ranked a little bit lower than I used to. But every time I watch the first Avenger, it's literally the foundation that holds up all of the team up movies, all of the Avenger movies, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like it's so underrated. It's such a good origin story. And I mean, to this day, I feel like it's one of the more important movies. I feel like it's a Yinsen Award winner for the MCU ranking because it's without it, I feel like none of the other stuff like hits as hard as it ultimately ends up hitting. So, um, the first Avenger, I think both you and I, we love that movie.
Yeah, we have a soft spot for it for sure.
Yeah. All right, Jeremy, we're hitting our top 10. Let's go with 10 to 6 and then go ahead and feel free to highlight two movies this time because we're in the end game now.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, making it at number 10, we've got Deadpool and Wolverine.
Whoa, okay.
I don't know if this is recency bias,
Okay.
like that it's gotten here this high.
Yeah. Well, I haven't mentioned
But
Deadpool and Wolverine, so it also made my top 10.
yeah, let's leave it at that. Number 9, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 7,
I love the pause.
number 7, Thor: Ragnarok.
Okay.
And number 6, Captain America: Civil War.
Oh man.
Don't worry.
Oh
Don't
man.
worry.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay, okay. I gotta hear some commentary now for 10 to 6.
Yes. Okay. Deadpool and Wolverine. Like I said, I hope it's not just recency bias, but I can feel that this movie is super rewatchable.
Well
Kind
then
of.
chase it. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Sorry.
If I feel it.
Chase it.
Uh, but I do feel like it is rewatchable. I actually did rewatch it for the second time yesterday, and
Nice.
similar, like kind of that light-hearted vibe to Thor Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm,
Not
mm-hmm.
saying like, oh, I only like light movies. That's far from the case. But Deadpool and Wolverine, just to see those iconic characters, I think is like it'll be fun every time I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
The other movie I wanted to highlight is Spider-Man: Homecoming. I feel like people like always give me like about it. You know what I mean? About putting Homecoming this high, but I feel like there's so already now. There's like nostalgia for me when I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's like, man, I haven't seen a good Spider-Man movie in such a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, cause freaking 10 years before that, you had Spider-Man 3, and that wasn't exactly very good. And Amazing Spider-Mans are okay, but Homecoming I felt like brought Spider-Man back into people's like,
Mm-hmm.
he has good movies again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Homecoming and introducing Tom Holland's version is I really liked in Homecoming.
I know the real reason why you have Homecoming this high.
What?
Because you want to get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Yes.
No, but I joke
No, I'm
around,
just
but
kidding.
dude, he was so good in that movie as the
He,
as the Vulture.
he
And that
was
reveal in the middle, that plot twist was whoo. I still
right.
remember the moment experiencing that the first time. I was like, no way.
So good.
So good. So good. I had trouble ranking that one as well. Number so for my top 10 or the latter half of my top 10. Number 10. I feel like we watched the same movie. Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, what? That's crazy.
That was very crazy. Number 9. I think this is the highest I've ever had it again in the previous iterations of our rankings. Number 9, I have The Avengers 2012. Number 8, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 7, I have Thor Ragnarok. And number 6, I have Captain America Civil War as well.
Whoa.
I know.
Insane.
We're overlapping. I will not explain Deadpool and Wolverine because I felt like we've done that. We've did that already. Done that? Did that. We've done that a lot in part 1, so definitely check out part 1 of this live stream on Deadpool and Wolverine. But the reason why I had Deadpool and Wolverine a slot below the Avengers was that I think I remember the epicness of seeing this type of team up for the first time, this level. And yeah, there's some hokiness with Joss Whedon's The Avengers, but there are just so many epic moments. Still have Loki as one of the best villains of all time within the MCU, and just literally best characters. And the more I think about the Avengers, I'm like, you know what? I should have the Avengers a little higher. That's why I have it at number 9. The other movie that I wanted to highlight is from last year, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That movie had no business making me think about crying so much over a CGI rabbit.
Yes.
Rocket Raccoon as well, it was basically his origin story, not to give too much away. And the fact that we get the same great needle drops from James Gunn, I felt like it was a fitting end for that group of Guardians. And man, I get all the nostalgic feels, and it's so rewatchable because you get a wide spectrum of emotions in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I've only been able to rewatch it one other time past its movie run in the theaters, and I couldn't watch it again. I was like, no, I don't want to be sad again, just because, man, there's a lot of good moments, and but it's so good. It's so good. But Jeremy, we've reached the end game. I think we both haven't mentioned Endgame, so I'm kind of curious to see where you actually have it slotted in your top 5.
All right. Speaking of Endgame, at number 5, you got Avengers Infinity War.
Whoa! Nice. I love
Throw
it.
it for a loop. At number 4, you've got Spider-Man No Way Home. And at number 3, Avengers Endgame. At number 2, Iron Man. And number 1, Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Oh my god.
I feel like that top 3 ranking is going to be very stable for me. I
Yeah.
almost thought about putting Endgame at number 2. I'll mention Endgame a little bit. It's rewatchable. It's just a long movie.
It is a long
You know what I
movie,
mean?
yeah.
So I also thought about it from that perspective that Iron Man is a little bit of a quicker watch, and I love Iron Man. So that is a thing. But another long movie is Spider-Man No Way Home. And I was thinking, now that we're 3 years out from this movie, basically, that yeah, you have the cameos similar to Deadpool and Wolverine, but they have a little bit more substance. I feel like in No Way Home, and the emotions that go on that in Spider-Man No Way Home. But those cameos are just like A-list cameos. For those who haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it or anything. But
Yes.
it definitely still hits my top 4.
My god. Actually, I just realized that our top 5s, well, the movies within our top 5 are the same. Just
Really?
shuffled. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because at number 5, I have Captain America the Winter Soldier. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, no. I was, you hella got me, dude. My face. I was like,
I should have let it hold for like a couple more seconds.
literal mouth open. Oh shoot.
Oh, shoot. That's too good. All right. My real my real number 5. Number 5, I have Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 4, I have dun, 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 Iron Man. I just rewatched it after the announcement. I was like, oh my god, I gotta put this on. Iron Man at number 4. Number 3, I have Avengers Infinity War.
Ooh.
And number 2, I have Avengers.
Can't do it a second time.
I can't do it again. It's not as smooth. But number 2, I have Avengers Endgame. And number 1, the reigning champ, basically since 2020 when we
Yeah.
covered it in I think it was season 1, or no, it was season 2, I think, actually. So it would be 2021.
Yeah.
Captain America the Winter Soldier has been both of our number 1s for a very long time because it's just that good of a movie. But the 2 movies I want to highlight, Iron Man, it's, to your point, still so good. It's tidy. It is the movie that kicked it all off back in 2008. Yeah, we get 2024 CGI, but the iconic lines and the fact that I feel like the Iron Man suit, each time he suits up in the first Iron Man, is still arguably the best suit ups, I guess. That and
agree.
well, my favorite one is one of my favorite ones is the Iron Man 2 suitcase one. But
Yeah.
just the nostalgia of the first time he does that, and you get the whole Galmira training exercise, all that stuff. The
Yeah.
and wow.
F-22
Ah.
fight scenes. Oh,
Oh.
man.
Oh, all of that. Iron Man, it's I don't think it'll ever age. It will never age, I think. And I don't know, it's kind of it honestly, I don't fault you for having it at number 2. But for my number 2, I want to highlight Endgame. A lot of people have Infinity War over Endgame. Apparently, we're not those two people. But the reason why I have Endgame higher than Infinity War is because you get a little bit more variety. Yeah, it's a little bit longer. But in the beginning of the movie, yeah, people may think that it's slow. It's a lot of like exposition. And it's like, get me to the final battle. But no, the reason why the MCU is so it's such an amazing cinematic universe is the fact that you get these A-list actors and actresses. And in Avengers Endgame, because it's the culmination of the Infinity Saga, you finally get to see these A-list actors act. You know,
Yeah.
you get to have like more long form scenes of these OG Avengers, and you get to feel all the emotions so that when the culmination happens in Act 3, I won't say anything else beyond that, you get the catharticness. Is that a word?
It is now.
Well, yes, I have Avengers Endgame at number 2, but yeah, the Winter Soldier's still top tier. Top tier.
Seriously, man. I couldn't. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna change it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, though, how much did I have you listing Captain America: The Winter Soldier at number 5?
I think in that moment, I was like, you got me, dude. Like maybe like a 9. You know, I was like, no way, because I feel like you've done a lot of shifting in this, like more than ever before. So I was like, no way, did he just do that?
That's blasphemous, bro.
I don't know, damn.
But yes, I am glad that we were able to rank these. It's fun to kind of see the evolution in our ever evolving ranking of the MCU movies, especially given the fact that I feel like we all change, so our rankings will never ever be the same. It would be weird if it did,
Yeah,
because times change. Like Quantum Mania had a little bit higher because I felt like
yeah.
it was relevant,
I think I
but now
gave
it's
it a
not.
fresh score.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
I liked Eternals way more than you, and now it's like my second to worst movie.
I think I have it higher than you now. Dark World is not at the bottom of our list,
What? It's
right?
mine is only what, fourth from the bottom. Wow, it's improvement. Jeez.
Yeah. Mine's only at 33. For now. For now.
Yeah, until you watch it again, you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it's top 20.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. Oh man, but that's our rankings. I'm curious to know how you feel, how you would rank your top MCU movies. For those of you who are checking us out on TikTok or the live stream. So if you're checking this after the fact, rank your 34 MCU movies, or at least your top 10 or top 5. Kind of curious if it matches up with Jeremy or my list. So,
Yeah.
Jeremy, let's get on to the next segment. We call this segment The Simmer. And this past weekend, San Diego Comic Con. I'm thinking a different MonsterVerse
Yeah.
with, but San Diego Comic Con took place, and there was some huge news, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Superman Lois final season
yeah, I
trailer. I'm
know.
just kidding. No, I'm
Woo!
kidding.
I'll get to that in one last thing,
Yeah.
perhaps. But the biggest headlining news was Robert Downey Jr. being announced as Victor Von Doom, aka Doctor Doom, in another announcement, Avengers 5, which is now called Avengers Doomsday. So, Jeremy, how do you feel about Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU as a non Tony Stark, non Iron Man character?
Well, first of all, we don't know that for sure. We don't know if he's gonna be Victor Von Doom or if he's gonna be a Tony Stark that ends up being Doctor
Doctor
Doom.
Doom. Okay,
We
okay,
don't know how they're gonna mash this all up.
that's true.
Um, my initial reactions was first Avengers Doomsday sounds like it's a Avengers and Justice League team up where they fight Doomsday, but regardless of that, the casting, him coming back and not being Iron Man is weird to me,
Okay,
honestly. I would love to see him back as Tony Stark, Iron Man. I don't know. I'm a little bit on the other side of I kind of feel like they should give a different actor a chance at Doctor Doom. Heck, Michael Fassbender as Doctor Doom would be insane, but I feel like, we can't just keep typecasting him as villains at this point or anti-heroes. um but
they'll bring
I
him.
am,
They'll bring him back as a mutant.
yeah, yeah, Quicksilver. I'm just kidding. Uh, yeah, but I'm a little disappointed in the initially. I think
Okay.
I'm cautious. I'm not being like, oh man, this sucks. Freaking Robert Downey Jr.'s back now. Like, I'm glad to have him back. I heard they're paying him a crap ton of money, which he was already doing that before. So bringing
Oh
him
yeah.
back for like his 15th movie or whatever, it must cost a lot. But to play Doctor Doom, if he was coming back and playing like a Doctor Doom that was like on the fence of being a hero or villain, I could possibly see that. But by the sound of it, where it's called Avengers Doomsday, where he'll probably be the main antagonist, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be more of a distraction than anything for people. That it's like, oh, that's he was Iron Man before.
Hmm.
You know, I feel like it's gonna be hard to get past that. I hope the story is compelling enough that we can get really hooked on to whatever they're selling. But that's kind of my fears for this casting.
Okay. Well, I'll bring up another piece of news from San Diego Comic Con related to this, our current topic. The reason why, well, one, again, I want to preface that I only watch comic book like movies and TV shows. Well, TV shows that I find interesting enough to actually start. So I don't really know what goes on in the comic books. So if I sound very noobish, it's because again, I don't know any of the source material, nor do I want to know because I want to look at it from this lens. I enjoy watching it from this lens. Um, because I don't like books, let alone comic books.
Too many
I don't like
words.
reading. I hate
Yeah.
reading. No, I'm just kidding. Don't give me some hate mail. I like reading. But the thing that gives me hope is the fact that both Russo brothers are attached to both Avengers movies. So I have every confidence because the MCU, when they're in the Russo brothers' hands, they're batting 1,000. Heck, we just ranked uh, a bunch of movies. We ranked 34 of them, and all four of their movies were in our top six.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I'm not expecting like a top 10 Avengers movie or maybe a top 5 Avengers movie, but I feel like again, similar to Deadpool and Wolverine, we'll get something good. And I mean, I have my theories of why they went out of their way to announce Robert Downey Jr. this early because correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, because one of the other movies that they announced was the new Fantastic Four movie. They
Mm-hmm.
released the official title, The Fantastic Four for Steps. Correct me if I'm wrong, but supposedly Doctor Doom is the main villain in that movie as well, or at least will make an appearance. Is that correct?
I would assume that he would have an appearance because of his tie to the Fantastic Four, but from what I've heard, the villain is different. I don't know if you want to know. Do you want to know?
No, no, no,
Possibly.
no, no, no.
Okay. I heard the main villain of that movie is a different villain.
Okay, so we may just get more of a cameo with Robert Downey Jr. possibly in like a post-credit scene or something like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like Thanos in Guardians of the
Is it the
Galaxy.
Galaxy?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. Okay, okay. I was just kind of curious, because I'm curious to see if, because obviously the rumors is like, oh, maybe it's a Tony Stark variant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, without getting into like speculative plots, but I'm kind of holding out hope that he's more of a bait and switch Doctor Doom, and we get an actual Doctor Doom, like some of these other fan castings, like a like Oppenheimer. We get Oppie
Ah.
playing like the real Doctor Doom, possibly like in a post credit scene in Avengers Doomsday, where you get a kind of an Avengers Age of Ultron post credit scenes. Fine, I'll do it myself, sort of thing. Where he just pops up. It's like, and really, he's like the more menacing Victor Von Doom.
Okay. See, I'm
And
trying
then
to
that
think of
opens
someone.
up the possibility of Tony Stark returning as his actual self, Tony Stark, Iron Man, in Secret Wars.
I hope so, man. He's gonna pull a Mandarin.
There you
I
go.
I mean, they put so much hype into this, though. I feel like he's gonna be a version of Doctor Doom
Yeah.
that's actually like a more serious threat. I, I don't
I
know.
think
I
he would
could
be a
I
serious
could be
threat,
wrong.
but I feel like he I don't know, somehow like dies or gets defeated or something like that, and then but we get a reveal like, oh, there's another Doctor Doom or something
What if we get just multiple Doctor Dooms? You know how
similar
like
to
we
getting.
were supposed to get multiple Kang the Conquerors and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
dude,
Maybe
that's
they'll
what I'm
just
thinking.
do that with Doctor Doom.
That's what I'm
Because
thinking.
I mean, Jonathan Major in that whole situation obviously couldn't do that anymore. So
Yeah,
maybe they're just
maybe.
kind of rerouting it, tweaking the storyline a little bit, and making it Doctor Doom.
I mean, this is the multiverse, right? And this is how to end the multiverse saga.
Yeah. Apparently, the Wizard of Oz did did it the
The
best.
best. Yes, apparently they did. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask you in the simmer is, out of the three upcoming MCU movies, which one are you looking forward to the most? Captain America: Brave New World, The Fantastic Four: First Steps, or Thunderbolts? Asterisk.
Yeah, that's true. This is kind of a hot take. I'm gonna say Thunderbolts asterisk.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Um, all the kind of bad press around Captain America: Brave New World has put my expectations kind of low. Right, the trailer was pretty good, but I feel like it's there, and they want to hype us like, oh, it's the next Winter Soldier.
Mhm.
I'm not falling for that, man. I watched Secret Invasion. um, so Thunderbolts, though, I feel like you mentioned, it's gonna be the dark horse of of this kind of next little set of movies, because you get all kind of the kind of gray area
Mhm.
heroes. You got like Elena, Winter Soldier,
U.S. Agent
freaking yeah, U.S. Agent. Like those characters, I feel like are more interesting to me
and
right
Bucky.
now. But yeah, see, like you get to see all that stuff
Mhm.
happen, and they're keeping a lot of things under wrap with this movie, and I like it.
Basically,
Fantastic
this
Four, I can. We'll see.
is this basically this MCU's version of Suicide Squad. I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, the Suicide Squad.
Oh, I go. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, sorry.
I feel like
Mhm.
out of the three, though, I feel like Fantastic Four, out of my gut, is gonna get the like best reviews out of the three.
Yeah. By the way, kind of going back to what you were saying about being the dark horse. So I was gonna say, oh, so you're gonna have Thunderbolts asterisk rank last?
Oh, I hope not.
I'm just kidding.
No, I feel like it's secretly good, man.
Yeah. I mean, you got a good cast of. I mean, it's. I take that back. There's gonna be some good characters that we've grown to love, and some that were just meh. I'm looking at you, Ghost. But hopefully, this movie redeems her character a little bit, kind of salvages it. We'll see.
We'll see. I
Um,
mean, it could literally pull the Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad and
yeah,
fix some of the things that they've done in the past.
yeah. Well, hopefully, again, hopefully because they're kind of pulling back in terms of releases, they'll actually spend time to actually hone in on the writing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Fantastic Four. Not a hot take. Really, I'm looking forward to what are they going to call it? The Fantastic Superman or Super 4? Superman 4? I don't know what they're going to call it, but it's coming out the same weekend, isn't it?
Shoot. I bet one of them's going to move.
You don't think we're going to get a Barbenheimer effect?
No. No, I don't think so. Not with two superhero movies. We got Barbenheimer because they were vastly two different movies.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're not going to compete on the same weekend. And that would be bold on whoever moves, that's going to say a lot. Especially if you move Superman. If DC
I mean,
moves
it's
Superman,
not like it hasn't happened before. Batman versus Superman moved
That's true.
from because they were going up against Captain America Civil War.
Dang, that's insane. So, if they move Superman, you know which one's worse. You know what I mean? Just like last time.
I secretly hope that they don't move because we get Barbenheimer, potentially Wicked and Gladiator 2. And then maybe we get this heavyweight. I would totally do a double feature that day.
I would definitely do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Superman though.
Oh no, of course. I would too.
Yeah.
But
Tom
man,
Welling makes a cameo. Just kidding.
don't get my hopes up.
If anything, dude, Michael Rosenbaum. Because James Gunn.
Yes. I love it. Anything else from San Diego Comic-Con that you want to highlight? Maybe a Superman and Lois.
Dude, I want a freaking trailer though for Thunderbolts. I even didn't watch any clips that they released of Superman and Lois because I don't want to know anything. Because that comes out in October.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Because, Jeremy, let's get into one last thing.
Okay. Sweet.
Jeremy, this is literally our last soup du jour of the season. How do you want to leave us with? What do you want to leave us with, I should say?
Okay. I literally haven't watched anything new, but it's because really been busy with other stuff. But literally, I think tomorrow we are getting Batman, the Caped Crusader on Amazon Prime, I believe it is. I think it's Amazon Prime. It's kind of crazy. And it's the Bruce Timm, the creator of Batman the Animated Series. I haven't heard anything about this movie on if people like it or not. But that is my next watch for sure. And I heard it. The trailer looked really good. So if it's anything like Batman the Animated Series, Batman the Caped Crusader, it's going to be like freaking X-Men 97 levels of excitement.
Batman, let's see streaming because I want to know. You're hyping it up. And now I'm kind of curious. Series premiere. Where is it premiering? It is Prime. August 1. It might be on right now. Don't they usually release stuff early?
Gotta check, man. Oh man.
No. Okay, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah,
Cause
more Batman.
yeah. Well, actually, you might know this question because I haven't done any of the research. I didn't know that this was even out. Do you think this is going to be one of those Batman series where it's more PG or PG-13 or more R?
I would assume more PG-13.
Okay, the reason why I
Cause
ask is because I'm looking for airplane content.
okay, yeah, from the trailer that I've seen, I don't think there was anything too graphic.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be weird if there was on the airplane you saw some cartoon adult stuff, happening. That
I
would be weird.
mean, they
You never
when
know,
was it
dude.
the Batman came out or right around little maybe around that time or a little after that they were talking about the bat and the cat doing some
Dance.
adult things.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of want to avoid. That'd be weird.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I guess I'll watch it and maybe let you know.
Yeah, let me know. Let me
Yeah.
know. Cuz I don't know if I'll be able to start it right off the bat, but especially if they release a few episodes tomorrow. I'm not sure. Do you know what their schedule
I
release
have
schedule will
no
look like?
idea.
Okay.
Hopefully they drop all of them. That's what I'm
Oh,
hoping.
okay.
I'd binge watch it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, for my one last thing, I keep alluding to it, but I have an upcoming trip. I've got a lot of hours to kill because I'm going to be traveling internationally, and so I'm looking for some content to watch that's not like the first 15 or 20 minutes of oh my goodness, Fallout that
Fallout,
I
yeah.
was trying to watch on one of my trips, and I had to abruptly stop because of that early scene in season 1, episode 1. But the one thing I did start finally is on Netflix. I started Cobra Kai finally, and I mean Cobra Kai. And well, Netflix just released part 1 of their final season, which is season 6. They just released it, I think, a couple weeks ago, and they're releasing this in different sections, different parts. So part 1, five, and each part has five episodes. So the first 5 episodes are out now. Part 2 will be out in November 28th, and then part 3 is coming out in 2025. So I don't know why they're spacing it out so much, but um, I'm getting all the nostalgic feels of the Karate Kid, and I can see why Cobra Kai is a finally I get to see why it has become a global phenomenon. I mean, other than the fact that it's on Netflix, but it is actually legit good.
Well, that's good. I've never seen the series, but I've
Hmm.
heard good things. I heard
Hmm.
some seasons are better than others,
Yeah, yeah,
naturally.
yeah. And so the reason why I started this is because again, I'm trying to look for some airplane um, watchable shows or movies
Yep.
because the I haven't started it yet. I told Jeremy maybe offline, or I mean we talked about it several weeks ago, but I plan on downloading Superman and Lois episodes so that I could start watching again on these international flights. And the third thing that I want to highlight is that I will start doing a complete rewatch of, or even first watch of the X-Men Fox
Oh,
movies. So
that's a good
yes,
one.
so I feel like I have a good stable of airplane friendly content between these three things.
Yeah, very superhero heavy. No, but
Yes.
the X-Men like franchise or the Fox movies,
Yeah.
it's just like they're it's a different style than MCU, and I think we kind of lost some of that.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
everything kind of feels too much of the same,
Yeah.
so they
Especially
definitely give
since
it different vibes.
DC tried to emulate some of that,
Yeah.
but sometimes they went a little overboard with the darkness. So it was
Yep.
either too dark or too light, I feel like.
Yeah.
Nothing in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were my three one last things.
Yeah. Those are all good one, man. So hopefully they're all appropriate for the plane.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to catching new things and old things, but more importantly, new things for me. Like new as in I haven't seen it, not
Mm,
as new or old like release dates.
right. Yeah.
Jeremy, do we want to highlight anything else before the end of this live stream? I know it's probably our longest live streams to date. Anything else that we've missed? Could have been something that we missed in part one, or just in general for the podcast.
No, I mean, we're still gonna be talking about the apex predator this coming Saturday morning.
Should I do it? Should I do it
Do it.
now or do it on Saturday?
Do it now and on Saturday.
Talking about Catherine Wiig's character. I forgot her name already.
Kristen Wiig's character. Cheetah.
Cheetah. Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot her actual name.
I
in there.
forgot her actually. We'll do that research
Yeah.
for the next one. We may even rewatch Wonder Woman 1984. No, I'm just kidding. We would never
Just
do
kidding.
that.
He's gonna watch it on the plane. Yeah, so while you fall asleep.
Oh, I know. I was like, man, I really need to fall asleep. Let me watch some Max Lord, aka Reed Richards.
Right.
Oh man. But
No, that's it for me. Have had a lot of fun talking about some good and bad movies this season.
I did too, actually. I want to first thank. I think we only had one guest this past season. We pivoted into a different format. I know we were both kind of busy. And live stream, there's that variable with guests and everything, with internet connections and everything. So, but I do want to thank Jacob for joining us on our Dune Part 2 episode. Also, those who commented on our live streams, either today or in the past, thank you for supporting the Weekly Reel podcast. Also, I want to thank Glenn Powell for giving us a never
So much content.
amount of content. And finally, final thanks to John Campea for supporting us and dropping a shout out to the Weekly Reel podcast. Did I forget anyone else, Jeremy?
I think you touched upon like all the important people, and Sean, my former roommate, Sean.
Yes, and Sean. Yes, Sean. Definitely fun. I guess going back and forth in the comment section for sure. But on behalf of Jeremy, John Campea, and more importantly, Glenn Powell.
Most important.
Most importantly, Glenn Powell. If you feel it, chase it. But we also want to thank you for joining us for all of season 7. Stay tuned this coming Saturday, August 3rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Pacific time, 10 a.m. For our RKO Awards, where we talk about season 7 in our wrap-up show. And we'll see you on the live stream, on the reel.